Imagine your destiny written on pages that you can't find. Now, Lost Pages aims to take us on a journey of drama, greed, and a race against time. Now, is this movie worth the hype, or is it yet another forgettable narrative? Let's find out. So the storyline follows Kelechi, played by Clinton Joshua, a young man set to take over his father's company, but his inheritance depends on one crucial document. Now, to protect it from his scheming uncle, he secretly passes it through trusted hands, until it ends up with Irene, played by Sophia Chisom. Unfortunately, Irene hands the document to someone else and ends up losing her memory in an accident. The document's whereabouts become a mystery. Now, Kelechi must race against time and find the documents before his uncle takes everything. So Lost Pages features Clinton Joshua and Sophia Chisom, a.k.a. Soso, in the lead roles. Movie is currently showing on Clinton Joshua TV on YouTube. Movie produced by Clinton Joshua and Uchenna Mbunabo. Now, the movie has its positives and its negatives, and this review might come with spoilers. So, spoiler alert. Now, first things first, the opening scene started off in an intriguing way. The hook was there. Now, speaking of intriguing, the first scene between Clinton and Sophia Chisom had me rolling. You know, their insults came off as a cute banter to me, and their banter lines had me rolling. You know, playing the character of ex-schoolmates who hated each other, Clinton and Sophia Chisom enacted their roles really well. Their cute insults and dialogue came off as natural, and it didn't feel forced at all. The dialogues were timed right. Sophia Chisom, being the female lead of this movie, honestly speaking, she enacted her role really well. She was my favorite character in the movie. And you know, for someone that had amnesia, her character, Irene, was a lot to handle. The fact that she had amnesia and was still looking for gist was quite funny to me. Honestly, Soso really slayed her character. It was as if she brought out her comic persona to enact her role really well. She outdid herself. Her lines literally cracked me up. Soso and Clinton really slayed their characters. Their acting was so natural. It was as if they were at ease with each other. The on-screen chemistry was really good. And for both their characters, the bond of argument was so strong that even amnesia couldn't take that away from them. Now, speaking of amnesia, the narrative wasn't too predictable, but as it progressed and I saw that the character Irene had an accident, and when I saw that bandage on her forehead, do you know what came to mind? Now, for most of you that normally watch all these series on Z-Word, you'd know that a Z-Word series isn't complete if there is no memory loss. Like, it's literally their thing. So when I saw that the character Irene had that bandage on her forehead and she was given those documents, you'd put two and two together and know where the narrative was headed to. So Mr. Emman Onyekwemaru played the character of Mr. Ezewele, the antagonist of the show. Now, first things first, there was something about the way he spoke as the antagonist. It felt a little bit forced, and there were scenes where he tends to overdo it. Now, for the antagonist of the show, he wasn't so smart. How can you steal the ownership documents and left it in your house? And you know what's funny? He kept on saying that he'd retrieved the ownership documents from his bank vault. So you had a bank vault and you stole those documents and left it in your house. It was as if they made him leave it there just for the documents to be stolen. And even the way the character Kelechi stole those documents was, it looked too easy. When it comes to the will, honestly speaking, I blame Kelechi's late father for the whole stress Kelechi went through, because he wasn't meticulous enough in writing that will. There were a lot of loopholes. What did he mean by whoever I give the ownership documents to inherits the company? Okay, you should have just stated it there in the will rather than making the young man run around and freaking out. Like, what was that? You should have just stated it in the will. Now, Vera Aganaga was a support role who played the character of Wura, Kelechi's friend, who he initially gave the documents to. Now, for a support role, she played her character well, and there were scenes where some thugs barged into her house. Now, first things first, honestly speaking, I couldn't even take those thugs seriously because they were literally like comic characters to me, both the way they spoke and how they acted, their body language and everything. They were thugs looking for those ownership documents, and they just barged into her room. I don't even know if they searched her house. They just barged into her room asking for the documents. And even the way they searched her room was half done. They just looked at one corner of the room, the drawers to be specific. The other corner of the room, they didn't leave the bed, they didn't do anything. God, I beg you. Like those dogs were just comic characters to me. And something about the way they kept on barging into Wura's house, it seemed as if she purposely left her door open for them to just come in. But I know they closed door. Now, majority of the subtitles in this movie were mostly wrong. Just like the scene where Mr. Azikiwe's wife said down to the paper's texture, but it sounded like down to the paper takes job, and the editing team didn't seem to have corrected the subtitles. It was as if they left it the way it was generated. They didn't edit or correct it. Now, not me thinking that Kelechi's late father's company, Damatos Holding, was that kind of big deal, well-established company. Now, there weren't much scenes at the company. It was only towards the end of the movie that there were scenes at the company. And that boardroom, the board meeting, the board members, to me, to be honest, it looked like a startup company. It didn't exactly look like a well-established company like the movie portrayed it to be. I think there were only 3 board members. Well, if you add Kelechi and his uncle, 5, but honestly speaking, it looked like a startup company to me. Now, to wrap it all up, the cinematography was praiseworthy. Shout out to Tunde Adekoya for the cinematography, and the story was also nice. Shout out to Chidera Iwozo for the story and the screenplay. Lost Pages delves into the themes of patience, greed, business, slow-burn friendship, and more. The movie is definitely worth your time. The performances were outstanding. Now, I think I'll be giving Lost Pages a 3.5 out of 5 thumbs up. If you've seen the movie, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And before you go, if you've seen the movie, towards the end scene, after the company had been handed over to the rightful owner, Kelechi's uncle said that he wanted to speak with his nephew. Now, what do you think he wanted to speak with his nephew about? If you've seen the movie and you have an idea, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on my review. Bye.